Right. Good morning, everybody. At 10 o'clock, we are going to be calling to order the Tuesday, August 17th Board of Commissioners meeting. If you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. At this time, we will accept public comment for items that do not appear on today's agenda. Is there any public comment for items not appearing on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will accept public comment as each item is under consideration. We will move forward with our meetings from our August 10th meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes from the August 10th Board of Commissioners meeting.
We'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. All right, we're going to move into Proclamation 24 of 2021. We're going to welcome up Carrie Hall, our Director of Criminal Justice Planning, and Jessica Shearer as well. And we're going to be discussing Overdose Awareness Day and also National Recovery Month as we head into, soon enough, September. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning. I come before the board today to request recognition of International Overdose Awareness Day, which is August 31st, and then National Recovery Month, which is the entire month of September. So in honor of International Overdose Awareness and National Recovery Month, the Center County Hope Initiative has several events planned. First, purple ribbons will be displayed throughout Center County communities beginning either the end of this week or next week. We're waiting to hear back from our local municipalities for approval to hang the ribbons throughout the communities on the trees. And they'll remain through the entire month of September to honor the lives lost to overdose and to spread awareness of substance use disorder and promote the message that treatment is effective and recovery is possible. You'll also see people wearing small purple lapel ribbons in support as well. We have cards that are being printed up. That is last year's card, but we'll have cards being printed up, and we'll display those and hand those out to different groups and departments within the county, and hopefully we'll have them at Grange Fair the end of this week, beginning of next week. On Tuesday, August 31st, a Candlelight Remembrance ceremony will be held on the steps of the courthouse at 6:30 p.m. to honor loved ones lost to an overdose. We welcome family and friends to share stories and memories of the loved ones lost, and that evening will also mark the lighting of the courthouse in purple. It will remain illuminated purple throughout the month of September. So since 2013 in Pennsylvania alone, over 31,000 individuals have lost their lives as a result of a drug overdose, with 129 of those here in Center County. Overdose deaths shatter families, friends, and their communities. At least 1 in 4 families in Pennsylvania is impacted by the chronic disease of addiction. We must encourage relatives and friends of people with substance use disorders to implement preventative measures, recognize the signs of the problem, and guide those to appropriate treatment and recovery support services. It is estimated that there are 23 million adults living in long-term recovery. And during a time when overdose deaths are still staggering, the HOPE Initiative wants to remind everyone that prevention works, treatment is effective, and recovery is possible.
Thank you very much, Carrie. We during the pandemic, as you said, this disease and the recovery that we all hope our community members seek, it did not wane. It has strengthened even, and so our resolve is coming out as we improve out of this pandemic to make sure that we're talking even more about the services that are available. And we appreciate all the leadership you provide to the HOPE Initiative and many other things that are done throughout our criminal justice planning system, getting money for different projects and initiatives. So we thank you so much, and Jessica, for your support and help with that as well. This initiative means so much to people's lives in raising this awareness. And so open the floor to any other comments from the board.
This is
yeah,
one of your
please.
interests.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, well, then I'll keep it brief, leaving some things for Steve. But thanks for the hard work you do, the HOPE Initiative, mental health, all of the different groups within the county. Obviously, it's been a rough year and a half for everybody, probably especially for those who have substance abuse issues. As you say, there are a lot of treatments out there nowadays that are effective, and we do urge anyone who has a substance abuse issue to seek treatment. Thanks.
One of the challenges that we see here in Center County is how the numbers of overdose deaths vacillate. You know, some years we have just very few, others it spikes, and We don't know exactly why that is or how that is, but certainly the pandemic last year had an impact on, and this year had an impact on people coming out and actually, looking and requesting services. But to Carrie and Jessica's point earlier, we do have a lot of programs available, and it's a lot of opportunity for people to educate themselves, remove stigma, because a lot of folks, feel, okay, this is something that I don't want to talk about. Somebody in my family has it. I don't want to discuss it. But if you maintain an attitude of, you need to seek help, you need to get help, recovery is possible. And I think there are certainly possibilities for improvement in our community. We work on that every day. But education is a big part of what the Hope Initiative does. And I think it's a very important part about what we are as a community, is to make sure that people have the right mindset to seek services, and then we have the facilities to provide them. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. And so what we'll do is, before we take the official adoption, we'll also provide the opportunity for anybody from the public who'd like to make any comments and discuss that. So please, and we will ask you, if you would be so kind, just to state your name and what entity you're with. Good
Yes,
morning.
my name is William Stauffer. I'm the Executive Director of ProA. We are the statewide recovery community organization of Pennsylvania, and thank you for your time this morning.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
So really grateful for the discussion and for the acknowledgement of upcoming Recovery Month and the significance of overdose awareness to this community and communities like it across Pennsylvania. Recovery is not only possible, but it's probable when we give people the kinds of services that they need to get better. I am living proof of that. I'm a person in long-term recovery since the age of 21. I barely graduated from high school. I'm a college professor. I run an organization. I've testified in front of the United States Senate on the efficacy of services and have received acknowledgement as a recovery advocate here in America, distinguishing myself with an award in 2019. The only thing really remarkable about me is that I'm not remarkable in the recovery community. People, not only do we get better, but when we get better, we become involved in public service and get very involved in our communities. And so I applaud the work of the Human Services Department. I applaud you for acknowledging it. We have to acknowledge that 1 in 3 families in Pennsylvania are impacted by this. And the first step in changing this is becoming able to talk about it so that people can feel like they can get help without shame or stigma. So we are really grateful for you. And we also want to invite you out. We're going to be rappelling down the side of a building on the 3rd and 4th to support recovery. You're all welcome to come out and join us. I'm 56 years old. I'm doing it, but thank you all so much.
Oh, no,
and,
sure. Absolutely.
Grateful for all of your support and the hard work of the Human Services Department.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just again, pro-a.org would be the website, ProA, if anybody wanted to check out the website for Pennsylvania Recovery Organizations Alliance. But thank you very much, Mr. Stauffer, for being here today. Appreciate it.
One question. How many people are rappelling down off a building?
I think we're at about 50 right now, but there's room for more.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, maybe I'll be down on the ground floor cheering you
That's
all
right.
on.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for the comments, and thank you for sharing your story and all the work you're doing across Pennsylvania. Seeing no other public comment, we will look for a motion to adopt officially Proclamation 24.
You want to do this one, Steve?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Mark.
Motion to adopt Proclamation number 24, proclaiming August 31st as Overdose Awareness Day and September of 2020 as National Recovery Month in Center County.
Thank you. I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion has carried. Okay, thank you again, everybody. Appreciate it very much. Okay, we will head into our contracts and authorizations. And for the two yes, Natalie, sorry. Join you for this one. Okay,
So,
yes.
on behalf of Children and Youth,
Yes,
we are
okay.
asking you to table these items
Okay.
until the August 24th meeting.
Yes.
We continue to be working on our needs-based budget. So those tie into it. So we would just ask you to table those until next week.
Is there a motion to table the 3 items for CYS?
Motion to table the 3 items for children and youth services.
It has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The items are tabled, and we'll see them next week at our 8:24 meeting. Okay. And then into MHID.
Sure. So on behalf of the MHD office, I have 3 contracts before the board, all in 3 different categories. So the first one is with PeerStar for peer recovery. This contract in particular assists with our first episode psychosis program that we have been operating out of that grant. So this allows us to contract with PeerStar to allow and support their peer services, even above and beyond if the person has an interest in the FEP program. The second one is with the ARC to provide intellectual disability services, home and community services, transportation, behavioral support, supportive employment. ARC is a great partner of ours for that. And then the last one is with Essential Intermediate Unit, number 10, to provide our early intervention services to our county. All of these are for the current fiscal year of July 1, 2021.
Okay. Thank you very much, Natalie. Any questions or comments on these items? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion to add the mental health, intellectual disability, and early intervention items 1 through 3 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you, Natalie.
I just would like to echo the support of Recovery Month on behalf of the Drug and Alcohol Office, and particularly the staff of that. They would always want to support that to our community, as well as the members of the community know that they can call in insurance, income, anything, it doesn't matter. We would highly like our community to know that there are supports, there are ways to get treatment in this community, around this community. We have that, so the staff would appreciate the highlighting of this month, as well as the opportunity to serve the public. So thought I would say that on their behalf, so thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you.
We are blessed to have some remarkable folks on our drug and alcohol program.
Absolutely. Okay. Into our grants section, under Human Services, we have 2 items for adult services for next week's consent agenda, and we'll welcome up Faith to discuss these. Hi, Faith. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
All right. So our first item here is our second contract addendum to the ESG CV1 contract we have through the Department of Community and Economic Development. So just for a little bit of a reference, we did get approval from you and also from DCD for a first amendment or addendum, where we moved our allocation from homeless prevention dollars into rapid rehousing. The reason we did that, of course, was because we have an eviction moratorium and we have more data to show that the rapid rehousing program is greatly needed in our area. This second addendum to the ESG CV1 contract is a total of $136,210, which we would be adding, of course, to our existing $341,549. And the reason for that request is we want to increase some of our service costs by $100,000. So $54,000 of that would go towards our services, or our supportive services, or our staffing. So the first grant that we wrote did not include any dollars for actual personnel. And so since we've been getting so much more money from both HUD and DCD for Rapid Re, we've had to add a second caseworker. So that's the $54,000 there. The additional $46,000 as a part of that $100,000 is to go towards additional staffing for case management for people that would be receiving what we call the Emergency Housing Voucher, or the EHV. That is something that Center County Housing Authority was awarded. They were awarded 45 of these vouchers, and we suspect that about 20 or 50% of them will be going towards people that are currently in our rapid re or permanent supportive housing. We call them moving on vouchers, and the other 50% will be for people that are currently sitting on a queue or a very long wait list that are either literally or chronically homeless. And so instead of putting them into a rapid rehousing or permanent supportive, we can rapidly rehouse them with an EHV voucher. With that, they are required to have some case management for about 6 months after, and so this additional funding would go hand in hand with the admin that comes from the EHV through the Housing Authority. The remaining requests, we have $28,500 is to go towards rental application fees, security deposits, and last month's rent, which are all items that we're not permitted to spend dollars on out of our rental assistance pot through rapid rehousing. So we're just trying to bulk up the program and make sure that we have all services available for some of our most high barrier clients. The second item I have here is our contract or a grant agreement with the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, or PHFA. I was here a couple weeks ago with the commitment letter for $16,000. That was approved, and now we've moved on to the contract agreement. So same information as last time, again, fifth cycle of this funding. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Faith. Any questions or comments on either of the items today?
I do have one comment.
Sure.
Of the 35 authorities, boards, and commissions I serve on, one of them is national, through the National Association of Counties, where I serve on their Community and Economic Development Committee. And I just sent an email to Natalie before I walked in, where they're going to have a special webinar with the U.S. Treasury Department, specifically on the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, possibly in terms of maybe paring back a few of the rules and regulations. If either one of you wants to attend, let me know, and I'll try to set it up for you with NACO.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Faith, on the fair, we've been participating in this in quite some time, and to think about this as being the fifth round is pretty remarkable. And we've been assisting individuals that are in, again, that Marshall Shale area, which is really the rural areas, many of the rural areas of the county. Can you quantify what that 16,000, does, and helps out with in terms of how many people or families?
Yeah, sure. So $16,000 could go anywhere from 15 to 20 households. It could go from 10 to 15 households. We provide that service in addition, we accompany it with our rental and mortgage assistance program. So we make sure that the eligible guidelines are the same. So for the community, they don't really necessarily have to or see the difference between the two programs. It's just two pots of money that we use, and of course specifically target those areas. So people can receive anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 in assistance in a 24-month period. So again, it can kind of range. So that's what we would be able to do with $16,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like nowadays we have, a lot of tools in our tool belts in terms of how we're keeping people in housing, and so it's great to see this. And so it's a lot of work. We appreciate it as always. Look forward to looking for a motion at this time.
Certainly. Motion to add adult services, items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
All right, it's been moved, it's been seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have today's consent agenda in front of us. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. We have two ABC appointments. Both of them are for the local Emergency Planning Committee, or LEPC as we know it. We have Ray Stelinas and Jim Coslow looking to be appointed, and their term would begin today. Is there a motion to approve both of their appointments?
Motion to approve both of the appointments to the local Emergency Planning Committee.
All right. Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. We will turn it over to Margaret for an administrator's report. Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning, thank you. I wanted to provide an update to you this morning on where we are with implementing the provisions of Act 65. As you know, Act 65 was signed by the governor on June 30th after unanimous votes of the legislation in both the House and Senate. And the legislation sets forth additional guidelines under which we operate for public meetings. So the main takeaways of the new law say that effective August 29th, that local agencies must make meeting agendas available to the public 24 hours in advance of public meetings. The advance agendas must be posted on the agency's website and at the agency's principal office and meeting site. Agency agenda copies must also be made available to attendees at the meeting. And the new advance agenda rules apply to regular and special meetings, but not to work sessions or executive sessions. So I think that's an important distinction for us because we also have work sessions. There are limited scenarios under which the new rules allow us to consider business not on an agenda, and that mostly relates to emergency situations and items that need to be taken care of in a very expedient manner. When that happens, we will then be required to post the revision to the agenda both on our website and at our site. So that is a change from what we do currently, but for all intents and purposes, we are almost in compliance with a few little minor adjustments here. Next steps, we are talking with our solicitor to review all of our different public groups to identify which ones must be in compliance with this. I'll be communicating that back to you, and then to all of the department heads who oversee those particular meetings. But we are on track to be in full compliance with this on August 29th, which is as I said, the effective date of the new law. So, that's it.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Thank you. Okay. We have our check run. We'll turn it to Commissioner Higgins.
Sure. Try to give Gary a little bit of news to work with today. Thanks for coming. I stopped by Good Day Cafe this morning on my way to the Willow Bank to find out that their third anniversary celebration is tomorrow. There's something about cupcakes. I think they're free. But yeah, tomorrow morning, I'm sure, Gary, you're already pretty busy, but if you're anywhere near Good Day Cafe, there might be something going on tomorrow morning for their third anniversary. Let's see. The next bit of news is we are up to 165 successful applicants for the Center County Commissioner Small Business Grant Program. That number is fluid because we do have a number of appeals in process. And at this point, I think we're up to about $1,850,000 allocated. So we still have about $1 million to go. So, any small business in Center County that experienced a 25% revenue loss in 2020 compared to 2019 after you factor in grants, we have free grant money available for you that you can apply to any 2021 business expense. About the most flexible and easy to apply for government grants you're ever going to run across. And for the check of the week, got a check for exactly $250,000 to the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. We were the 5th county in the nation to offer a tourism grant to our tourism promotion agency, and they've done good work with that. I understand that weekend bookings are up substantially here in Center County, and that was one of our goals. So I would like to make a motion to approve the check run of $1,112,028.76 dated August 13th.
It's been moved and seconded to approve today's check run. Is there any further discussion on the check run? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, and over to Commissioner Gershom.
Okay, we have a voter registration report this morning that includes 104,850 registered voters for our county. That's up 43 from our last report. The roster appears as Democratic registrants, 44,008 registered. Green Party, 136. Libertarians, 683. No affiliation, 13,996. And the Republican Party registers in at 42,162, which leads all others to include 3,865 registered voters. And I'd like to feature of those minor parties that are included in that 3,865 number, the unaffiliated. And the unaffiliated today have 3 registered voters. So I want to recognize them. The precinct feature of the day is State College West Central 2, which votes on at the CBICC office on Fraser Street. And in the primary, there were total registered voters of 1,415. There were 88 ballots cast and led to a voter turnout of 6.22%. And as you might guess, these were largely student precinct. And because of that, they were out of town at that point. And that's why the voter turnout percentage was so light. But the folks that make it happen, the judge of elections was Haley Mitchell. The minority inspector was Susanna Ivory. The majority inspector was Reagan Roan, and the clerks include Zachary Dashner, Leah Lauk, and Naomi Knapp. And we want to thank them all for their help, and thank the CBICC for the opportunity to use their facility for our voting purpose. So thank you. And that's my report for this morning.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Do we have, Margaret, I should say, any executive sessions that we need to report?
No executive sessions to report. However, we do need to meet an executive session prior to the adjournment today to discuss a personnel matter.
Thank you. We have the balance of our agenda there, or I should say meetings there. And any questions, Gary, at this time, please?
Mark, when's the deadline for the small business applications?
Oh, that's rolling, first come, first served. So
Okay.
when we run out of money, it'll be over. So we want to try to give that full $3 million out to all the businesses in Center County. The grant amounts range from $2,000 to $20,000 in $2,000 increments. And right now, we're really getting a pattern down. So usually within about 2 weeks of somebody applying, they're receiving an email saying either you are receiving a grant of this amount, or you're missing some paperwork, maybe there was a math error in your application, please contact us and appeal. And we've actually had a number of people who've appealed, now been approved. But once you are approved, it's all going to take maybe roughly 2 weeks until the CEDACOG, our Regional Economic Development Group, puts the check in the mail.
State College Borough has been talking about the development, formation of some type of a health department, independent health department. Is the county involved with those talks at all?
They reached out to us, invited us to some conversations. They're very initial at this point, and there are only a handful of either municipal or county health offices across the state. It's a very lengthy process to go forward with it, but yeah, we have been in communication with them, and they're making sure that we're having open channels as it comes to any kind of formation of a health department in Center County or any municipality.
Within the next week here, Grange Fair, students coming back, I'll be done soon. Is the county in talks with Department of Health to monitor what's going on in terms of, there has been a small increase in cases, to follow what's going on here?
Yes, we are. As the public knows, hopefully by now, we have a great partnership with the Department of Health through a testing site. We're working closely with them to see what avenues may exist to continue that. Still more to come on that. But this is, we communicated with them very closely when students returned last August, a year ago. And so they're very much aware of it. We're having conversations with them. And again, their message and our message is, if you can get vaccinated, please do. There's many opportunities to do it, many local providers here, but that's really the best thing that we can do as a community is just keep up with the vaccinations.
Where do you stand with the architect's review of the the old Centercrest building? Is that, they still working there? Or?
We actually have a work session next week planned to go over some of the initial, very rough feedback and thoughts about how we could start to reuse that facility. So next week, but yes, their sketches, again, very initial, are next week.
According to the hearing yesterday and information provided, the planned casino could provide quite a bit of revenue for the county. As you folks talked about earmarking some of that revenue or anything like that yet?
I think the College Township commissioned a study, I believe. We've received a copy of that. They have placeholders in there, but again, it's really going to depend on when the casino would open, what kind of activity they see. Many years from now, I think our priority in terms of the funds that we need to plan for and spend, and we have been, is the American Rescue Plan. I think that's the big thing at this point. We know that that's here. We know that we need to allocate that and use it. We have a work session after this meeting to discuss that, but depending on, again, how much money passes through the casino, that would then provide us with some cost estimates. But I believe there's an application process we need to go through with the state to say how we would spend it. So again, that's a ways off, but we are aware of it, and would have conversations with local legislators and the governor about what that process would look like eventually.
I think it's important for the county at some point in the very near future to have conversations with other counties that have had casinos in their locale, because one of the things that really concerns me is I don't know how much visitor impact it'll have. In other words, will the gamblers, if you will, come from out of county, or will they be in-county individuals? And going back to some of the issues with substance abuse, I think gambling abuse might be something that we need to look at and figure out how much impact that'll have on our community and how we will have to fund the treatment, if you will, for some of the folks that may find themselves in trouble with excessive gambling. So before we write this all in place, I really want to look at some of the impacts that the casino might have on our local communities.
Definitely. I know Erie County is a few years ahead of us in this process. Definitely want to take a look at what they've done. But yeah, we obviously want to look at counties that are roughly our size to maybe a couple times bigger, and what have they done? What's been successful for them?
Have any of you had any direct talks, any lobbying with Penn State administration on their masking, vaccination policies, any COVID-related policy talks?
So actually, today we have there's a local leader, I believe for municipalities and counties, that'll be this afternoon, this evening, with the Penn State leadership. So very much looking forward to that conversation and, seeing how that goes. I think they're going to provide us an update and looking forward to that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Gary, thank you for being here. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. So we are going to do an executive session, Margaret, in parallel to this, or I should say concurrently. Okay. So we look at this time to go into an executive session.
Motion to recess the Board of Commissioners meeting for an executive session at 10:31.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on going into executive session? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Thanks, Natalie.